Okay. I just finished reading Mike Tyson's memoir, The Undisputed Truth, and I thought I'd put up a little review on it on YouTube. I am glad I read it, and I do recommend it. It is 552 pages long, not including the epilogue. It's an easy read, but it takes several days because it is so long. It could and should have been shorter. The language of the book is the language of the street, and the reader should expect a lot of profanity. That being said, let me tell you some of the highlights of my impressions. It is an honest book, I think, and he tells the kind of life he lived without sugarcoating. For the boxing aficionado, he goes into a lot of detail about his relationship with Cuffs de Amato and the art of boxing, and that part of the book was good reading. He tells about his early life of being in an alcoholic home without a father and being traumatized by beatings, something that no doubt led to his later alcoholism and drug addiction. He is honest about his juvenile delinquency and sums it up pretty good on page 36, saying, "I did a lot of bad stuff," except he doesn't use the word stuff. He goes into detail about his highly publicized relationship with Robin Givens and her mother. He sums that up by saying, "I was traumatized by the relationship. Those were cold broads." He goes into tremendous detail about his rape conviction involving Desiree Washington. He would have us believe that he was an innocent victim. Maybe. In my opinion, he doesn't quite pull it off, although he did succeed in planting some doubt in my mind that he was guilty. He also portrays himself as a victim of racism. Here's a quote. "I knew I was supposed to be convicted. That was just how the system worked. I'm a descendant of slaves. That people can respect me as a human being to this day is something I have doubts about. I was the nigger, and that cowboy prosecutor was going to put his spurred cowboy boots in my face." That doesn't quite succeed either, as he seemed to be more a victim of his own foolishness than racism. Much of the rest of the book is spent detailing a life of debauchery, cocaine addiction, and occasional acts of violence. Incredible wealth and fame seemed to open the doors of sin for him, and he entered into it with abandon. There is a good expose of Don King, the fight promoter, as well as a good look at how opportunists take advantage of the legal system to try and fleece celebrities. At times, the constant descriptions of partying excess were a little thin, and it all could have been said in a shorter amount of time. The book really is way too long. But his journey is the familiar journey of all addicts, sinking lower and lower. Along the way, he introduces us to some individuals who begin to help and steer him into a better path. The book is at its best when he talks about the pain and heartache of losing his 4-year-old daughter. We begin to see the human side of him and not just the lecher. We hear about his involvement with Alcoholics Anonymous and a slow process of maturity. Toward the end, he gets married and paints himself as a committed family man. There are signs of real spiritual growth. Here's a quote. "People often ask me what I regret in my life. I regret sleeping with all those women. I used to brag about that, but now I'm so embarrassed by my conquests." In the end of the book, in the postscript, Mike admits he slipped in August of 2013 from his sobriety. This is not writing, but I'm reading in case you couldn't tell. At this time, November of 2013, he has been clean about 90 days or so, and he's still struggling. So remember him in your prayers if you're a believer in prayer, and I do recommend the book, but it's a very, very, very long book. All right? Thanks for watching.